And I hope you had a great weekend. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet ein super Wochenende. So today I am joining you with day number 9 of my 21 days to boost your German vocabulary. So welcome back here again. And today I wanted to talk to you about the benefits of grouping your vocabulary so that you can learn it much more effectively. Because really there is a great way of doing that. Grouping your vocabulary helps you with association. So you're associating one word with other words. On the other hand, you can also associate words with a color. So why I'm saying that is, number one, grouping your vocabulary can either be that you write more than one word on a card. And I'm going to share my screen in a minute with you to explain that a little bit more. The other thing can be that you, for example, have a whole group of words in a certain color. Let's say, for example, I always bring my Greek learning up. I need these cards, I can tell you. So, for example, green are actually the Greek letters and how do you write them, and the yellow are all the numbers. So I like to do it like that. So, and then I've got other things like sentences, for example, some things that are helpful in a DIY shop. Everybody who knows me knows I love DIY shops, so I have those there. Things like what's the word for paint in Greek, and matte and not matte, and so it's really good. But it's a really great way of associating words. When you associate words with something else, it's easier to learn them. When we, for example, associate words with color, we're using both sides of the brain suddenly, and actually it helps us to remember the words much better. So I had talked about the cards obviously before, but I just wanted to share with you the way you can group vocabulary, for example, how you could do it. Apart from having it obviously on a whole ring in cards in a color, or grouping them more. So number one is you can group them in types of words. So types of words, for example, like I've just said there, I've had my numbers there, or you can have a ring with nouns. For example, have all the nouns together. Let's say the nouns are all in green, the verbs are all in red, the adjectives are all in blue. It's just that you're starting to associate different words with a certain color, and it just helps you. I know it seems strange, but it actually does really help, because you suddenly think, where was that? It was on that ring, it's blue. It could be this, or it is that. So but just for your learning, it's like time expressions, so you can have a few of these rings on the go, and you just add to it as you go along. What that does as well, let's say, for example, I want to write something, and I've got a ring, or I've got like 20 cards where I've got time expressions already on, or I've got different ways of saying, from time to dime, or always, or every day, or the entire week, those sort of words where you've got time expressions, and you want to vary it. You just take the ring and they're all together. So it's a much easier reference actually to pick up a word, and you can say, oh, I've used that, I used that, let's use this one today. It's a great way of getting new words, starting to use new words. The other way you can obviously group the words are in topics. So you can have hobbies, a whole list of hobbies, all different jobs, all different activities, or holidays. There are so many things that you could do. And the other one is when you have like I call it sort of an accumulative topic. Let's say you want to introduce yourself. And so you could have like a card or a couple of cards there with things like to tell people who you are, where you live, where you come from, a little bit about your family, about your work, what you're responsible for at work, that sort of thing, I call that my little get in the lift stuck conversation. You imagine you get in stuck in a lift and you're going to have a conversation with somebody. I mean, you're there for a couple of hours, but at least it would be great to work, have a few sentences. This is my thing that I like to do, my very first lesson with my new students, the beginners, so that they can talk. I think it's all about speaking. So yeah, it just helps you to prepare something like that and talk about it. These are also great topics, and that's something I will be speaking about in tomorrow's part, how they help you to speak. Actually, it is really great grouping your words and helping you to talk about different topics. So those are the different ways. It's similar to where I've had my numbers, and that's, the ones where I'm going into DIY store and I've got everything ready that I need for that. I will have looked it all up, and some of it, because I don't know much about that, but it is very, very helpful to group your vocabulary for learning. So number one, the association with color, and number two is also the association with other words. And then having these two groups, your types of words, topics, or accumulative topics, which are a much broader thing. Let's say, for example, you're going into a restaurant, and you're going into a restaurant and you want to speak to people there. You can write things down like, because you know that the waiter or waitress is going to ask you, may I help you? You may want to say, oh, I'd like to sit on the terrace, or I'd like to sit over there, or I'd like a table for 2, 3, 4, however many people. Do you have them? I mean, usually they bring you the menu, but it's just nice to have that little chit chat, or the way to say, keep the tip, or this is for you, or do you have any salt, anything extra? So all these words you can group onto cards. So so it would be lovely to hear from you in the comments below, how you can group things, and what different ideas would you have to group your vocabulary, for example, or what are you planning to do? And the grouping of vocabulary works really well as well for exam preparation, because then you can, because you have certain topics, it would be really good to group them either in topics. Sometimes that works well for topics, because then you've got your verbs, your nouns, your expressions for a topic ready. Cross-references is really, really helpful as well. Sometimes you may have a word in a group and you also have the verb, for example, in a verb pack. It's all right. You can never learn too many of that. If you've got it written down twice, you obviously didn't know it yet. So it doesn't matter if it's written down twice in different groups. I hope you found it really helpful. It's really a great thing to do and start. If you haven't done the grouping yet, or you haven't got any of your cards yet, do it today and start grouping your verbs, your words, your vocabulary, because it's really, really helpful to learn you and to get very good and proficient and fluent in German. So have a fabulous evening, and I will see you tomorrow with tip number 10. Okay, see you then. Tschüss.